Hi, everybody. I've been on YouTube in a little bit. Been tinkering with TikTok and Instagram a little bit. Well, mostly TikTok, yeah. Um, so if you want to follow that, that's great. That'd be helpful. Little update on everything. I'm I'm trying to build a couple projects out. I've got a couple ideas I'm working on now. Um, there, one is I'm calling the Oasis Project, kind of tentative name, kind of a placeholder name, and the other is my public speaking style goal, where the videos here are for practice for that, but also to kind of elucidate people on who I am, what I'm doing, and really expand on this. So I'm currently in Maine. I'm in Ellsworth, Maine. It's a little rainy and foggy today, but it's really nice out if you like that kind of weather. Um, I'm still in my car. Uh, I'm working on plans to hopefully be able to upgrade to like a van or something, like an RV or something like that. Who knows? We'll see how that works out. But really, what I'm trying to do is spread awareness of just of peace and prosperity and kindness, but also I'm a huge fan of psychedelics. Um, so that's what I'm gonna kind of talk to you about today. Is the fact that I I don't recommend people. I'm not like a person who recommends people should try anything. If you don't feel like it, don't. It's like a intuitive thing. I trust my intuition to a fault. And yeah, the problem is that it's not for everybody. It really isn't. And neither are things like cannabis, which have been huge helps for me this last couple of years. I'm taking a break from everything right now. I'm mostly just traveling and eating healthily, but that's it. Um, I I'm gonna call them adventures on here, but I've had so many adventures with psychedelic, with mushrooms specifically. They're my go-to, but yeah, they're also natural. Like the fact is, they're cannabis and psilocybin are natural substances. So there isn't this weirdness of them being made in the lab or some kind of synthetic knockoff. No, they're just from the ground. They're yeah, and I've come to believe that they are here to help. So I'm going to go into a little bit of the experiences I've had. So I've actually when people know what they're talking about when it comes to psilocybin specifically, you can't really understand it unless you've done it. And it's so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to become like a voice of reason and clarity on these topics. I'm trying to be a person where people can hear me speak and hear the truth and trust that I'm telling them the truth. And one of the first experiences I had with mushrooms, I actually spoke to the mushrooms. It was weird. They asked me, "Are you doing this right now for fun or for growth?" And I had to sit back and be honest, but I was doing it for growth. I said, this is for growth for me. And they said, okay, just to warn you, that's the scary option. That's the difficult option. That's the one where you're gonna have moments where you might doubt yourself, might doubt your decision, and that's valid. Fully did. I've had some of the scariest moments I've ever experienced. No, the scariest moment I've ever experienced was on psilocybin, and I grew from it, but it was terrifying. But there's a major component of all this that people address pretty regularly, and that's ego death. Ego death is a big deal. I don't know the exact number, but I've died like 100 times this last year and a half or so. And I've been taking a break for the last 2 months, probably. But when I was, it's one of the things where some people make it seem like the ego deaths stop after a certain time doing psychedelics or psilocybin. That's not my experience. I died a lot. Uh, so to introduce myself, I'm Austin, and I'm I've experienced being undoubtedly the worst version of myself, in the sense that if there was some kind of metric, like a leaderboard for reality, somehow the version of me I was in that moment was the worst version of myself. And that was eye-opening, because when I got to experience being that person, I wasn't that bad. Like I was pretty much a normal person. And it was like, it's funny because the worst version of me wasn't that bad. But yeah, so you go into these things, and I tell people that they need to decide, or they need to know, if they're doing a substance for growth or for fun. And neither one is neither option is a negative or inherently bad choice. But if you go in for growth, you gotta commit, because it is the road less traveled, as they say. There's the fork in the road with that decision. And the funny thing is you could always, like, after, like, you it's almost like every time you go in, you're going with that same question being asked. So if you decide to do it for fun, that's valid. But really, you need to ride it out. You need to follow the course till its completion, because each experience was a cohesive thing, but also felt like a continuation of a story. And so, for example, I got to experience a reality where I was 100% certain that our planet was on the verge of destruction, in the sense that, in a way that wasn't related to us and was unavoidable. So I was made aware. It was like a voice came to me that said, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your planet is about to be destroyed, and there's nothing we can do, there's nothing you can do, and the only choice you have right now is whether or not you want to tell other people about this. And I was like, what is going on? Why is our world ending? What's causing this? And they said, well, it's just a quirk of nature, really, because your planet is positioned between two mating space whales, if for lack of a better idea. And one just saw the other and is heading for its mate. And your planet is in its way. And it's small enough compared to the whale that it doesn't really realize you're there. So it's gonna crash through your planet to get to its mate, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's already on its course. It's set for this to happen. And I was like, oh, okay. So there's no point in causing other people to panic, because there's nothing we can do, right? I can't change it. They can't change it. So might as well hold on to this knowledge for myself and just bear witness and realize that, oh yeah, if I tell anybody, their last moments on earth will just be worse for that. That's it, right? And so I had to realize, yeah, sitting here in my room, aware that death is coming, it's honestly not that bad. Ego death is a really wild experience, because it's truly like all the stuff that doesn't matter falls away. You're like, oh, huh, yeah, I am going to die. I mean, everybody's aware that they are, but at the end you're like, oh, no, this is a thing I know is coming. Like, I know when it's happening, I know how it's happening, and I know why it's happening, and I know it's nobody's fault. Like, it's not like it's my fault. It's not like it's the space whale. It's not. They don't really know that we're there, so it's not their fault. And so there's nobody to get mad at. There's nobody to rail against. There's nobody to complain to. It's just gonna happen. And I wanna express these things to people, because life is beautiful, and death isn't scary, and the best thing to do is to find a way for you to live your life, be kind, and help those around you, without judgment, without trying to convince them of your understanding. It's just like, life is small but massive. It's everything. And this planet, people give it so, like, people say it's a small world, or it's a, and it is in a way where you meet people all the time where you're like, oh, I know you, I've met you before. But really, this place is massive. This country is massive. I just drove from, so it's been, I started my trip, like 2-3 weeks ago, and I've been from Nevada through Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Tennessee, Virginia, DC, Maryland, Philadelphia, New York, Pennsylvania, New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, or whichever one, and then up to Maine. I'm in Maine right now. I'm in Ellsworth, Maine right now, and this place is beautiful. It really is. I'm sitting in a parking lot near this organic grocer called John Edwards, and this place is awesome. I've been to Machias, I've been to Surrey, I've been to Ellsworth, and I've met people in every one of these locations that have been amazing people. And you can do that everywhere. We're in this really kind of divisive time where, we've always been in a divisive time, but right now it's very clearly us versus them for a lot of people. And it's like, and yeah, some people are definitely making bad decisions, and they're making decisions out of hate or fear or judgment, and it's like, it's unfortunate. But at the same time, there's so many people out here who are just living a normal life, living a life that's happy and full of love. And they might be a little bit stuck in their, caught in their own thing, but it's like, that makes sense, right? People have got families, people have got kids, people have got jobs. I'm fortunate in a weird way to be pretty free right now. I mean, I'm broke. I'm hoping to make as much money as I can doing what I can, and I have a GoFundMe for that. So if anybody's interested in helping, I would greatly appreciate that. It's a GoFundMe. It's $3,000 just to help me get this trip kind of more solidified. Because right now my goal is to go to events and go to groups. Like yesterday I went to Surrey, and they have this thing called the Gatherings, where they'll do like, there's a mushroom, non-psychedelic mushroom, but like actual just medicinal mushroom talk, where nice guy named Jesse, he owns a place called the Conscious Cafe here in Ellsworth, and he is a great cook. He's amazing. And one of the things he did was he showed how to make recipes with mushrooms, and they're all like really, like, I don't eat mushrooms and enjoy the taste and texture most times. I have sensory things because of my autism and just being me. But I've always been sensitive to textures and tastes, and it was the first time in a long time, well, first time ever really, that I've eaten a mushroom, like a medicinal or like food mushroom, and it was not gross to me. It was weird. It was a really cool experience. He made these lion's mane mushrooms that tasted like almost like a steak, like a tender steak, and it was really good. And he did it all, and he told everybody how to do it, and there's like a little course on how to cook mushrooms. And they also have events where they talk about, they'll go, once the weather clears up, they'll do tours and show you how to find these mushrooms growing in the ground, like turkey tail, lion's mane, all these things, right? And also what they do for you. And like turkey tail is good for helping treat cancer and helping with cancer patients. And lion's mane is good for brain cell growth and neuroplasticity, and all these things are natural and they grow on the ground, and it's amazing what you can do when you ask the world for help. Like when you trust in earth and you trust in reality, you trust in the universe, God, source, how you going to say it? I'm apt, I like to say the universe a lot. It just fits, kind of a mixture of science and a little bit of the woo-woo spirituality, which I'm pretty much open to it all nowadays. But yeah, it's amazing where I just in this area in Maine, I tell people I crossed into Maine and I felt like it's a different world up here. It's so, I don't know, like peaceful, and the people here are so kind, and there are people who are kind everywhere, but it felt like I crossed a threshold when I entered into Maine, and especially when I got up here to the east part of Maine with like Machias and Ellsworth, where there are groups up here who are mindful and kind and genuine people, and it's down to earth. It's like I went to this event called The Art of Being Me. Or no, sorry, The Art of Being. Art of Being. And it was a great experience. It was like experiencing being with people in a way that you might not have before. It was seeing people intentionally. It was asking questions in a way that was new. And I want to help spread these things. I want to help bring these ideas to people, because there's so much cool stuff happening in this world. With me, I like, psychedelics. I want to bring the good word of psilocybin and cannabis to people. I want to spread that message to people. But at the same time, I don't think it's necessary to partake in these things. I think I know people who have done and had these experiences through meditation, through mindfulness, through prayer, and I want people to know that their path is theirs. So the idea of the path less traveled is important, like in the sense that the path least traveled is your own. Only you have traveled that path. Only you will travel that path. And only you should travel that path. And so I've come to the idea lately that Jesus is a great teacher, a great mentor, a great leader. And what I've learned from his message is that he wasn't trying to create followers. His disciples were people he wanted to make into leaders. He wanted to teach them how to teach. And then he wanted to create leaders in the community. And that's what I want to do. I want to find those people who are leaders already and learn from them, and then spread their message and bring that message to people that in a way that helps, because there's so much that I've learned in this life. And the best I've ever learned, the way I've learned best for myself is by being me. I struggle to learn other people's way. I struggle to learn by doing things the way other people do them. And, it's to say, like, your path is your path. My path is my path. And you have to know that and believe that your path is the answer for you. And aspects of your path can be helpful for others. And you can learn from everybody. You can sit and people watch and observe and learn how to do things better by just observing. You don't have to ask any questions. You don't have to make any assumptions. You can just observe and learn. For example, it's silly, but it's only been the last few months that I've had longer hair. And one of my friends, I was at work with her one day. I was working at a dispensary in Vegas. And I was like struggling with my hair. I was like, how do you... I didn't ask anybody. I was just like kind of observing. And it was like frustrating because I couldn't quite get my hair to cooperate. And I saw her do this thing where she put her thumbs above her ears and did this. And I was like, that's so simple. I've been overthinking it. And ever since then I do that. And it's helpful. Like, you can just learn from everybody. And I want to be somebody who, when I speak, my words are truth for you, for the people listening and the people who find these videos on TikTok, on YouTube. I've done a little bit of things on Instagram and like Blue Sky, but really, I want to be in person. I want to meet people where they are. I want to stand in a group. I want to be speaking to a crowd. I want to have my own classes and my own courses where I'm in front of a group of people and helping them to learn about themselves, about the world. And the only way I know how to do that is by telling stories about myself, because I'm a learner, I'm a traveler, I'm a storyteller. And for me, telling stories is the way to reach people. And that's what this is me just telling stories and hoping that my story reaches you in a way that helps you to find your path. Because as I said yesterday on TikTok, you are the main character of your story. I'm the main character of my story. And everybody is the main character of their story. I know it sounds pretty, obvious, but for a lot of people, it's not. I see so many people living their lives, and they make other people their main character. I was doing it for a long time. On one of my adventures, I'm going to call my mushroom experiences adventures just because it's more digestible for a lot of people. But on one of my adventures, I kept hearing a voice say to me, choose yourself. Choose yourself. Not your person, not your partner, not your family, yourself. Because once you choose yourself, then you can help others. It's like the thing on airplanes. Put your mask on before you put on other people's masks. Like, help yourself before you help them, because if you pass out, you can't help them. But yeah, so you need to choose yourself. And that's not to say if you're a parent or a spouse or a partner or a family member that you can't also choose them, but you have to choose yourself first. It's a selfless selfishness. Like, you have to decide and find yourself before you can help others decide and find themselves. And yeah, you have to be who you are before you can help others be who they are. And that's what I've done. I'm 32, and over the last 2 years, I found myself. And now that I did, I want to find myself in groups. I want to help people find themselves. And I want to be a voice of compassion, open-mindedness, groundedness, and adventure. Because I watched a video a few weeks ago about the idea of brain cell growth and neuroplasticity. And for what the message is that shocking your system is how you encourage brain cell growth. And the woman who was giving the message was I can't remember her name. I'll find her later. But she had 3 tried and true methods for encouraging brain cell growth through shocking your system. The first was intermittent fasting. So just give yourself 8 to 12 hours between meals. Like give yourself time between, like, get to the point where you feel actually hungry before you eat. And you'll find that over time, that for me at least, that has kind of spread out where I can eat less, and when I eat, it is less frequently. The second one, so it's intermittent fasting, which I do naturally my day-to-day now. The second one is high intensity interval training, and so working out, but not necessarily working out for a long time, like working out for brief bouts of exercise, working out, travel, doing hard work. And that could be everything from going, it doesn't have to be intense, like it's just high intensity interval training. Yeah, so it's, for me, I found that really what it is being mobile, being active, and it doesn't have to be intense. It can be, I found that going for a decent walk, helping somebody with like woodworking or working with your hands, those things are work, and they're a way to shock your system. And then the third is the one that's kind of hard for me, is brief cold showers. So she recommended, like, at the end of a hot shower, ending with a short cold shower. And apparently the temperature change is a way to induce or help induce brain cell growth. And what that sounds, so those 3 things: intermittent fasting, the high intensity interval training, and the cold showers, really, it sounded like variations on the idea of being a nomad, traveling. Because when you travel from place to place and biome to biome, you change weather, and so the temperature will fluctuate wildly. Like, I went from Las Vegas to Maine, traveling across all the zones between, and it was like very cold in spots, pretty warm in other spots, very green, very wet, and that shocked my system. And then when you travel and you're a nomad, you eat when you need to eat. You don't eat just because you want to eat. And so there are periods where I just take breaks. I don't need much, and I've noticed my appetite and my metabolism have picked back up, where, like, I eat good food, healthy food, and then I take breaks. And then traveling in general is work. Like, as you can see, my car is full of my stuff. I have to move stuff around all the time. I've done, like, odd work here and there. Like, I've helped a person with restoring windows, and I've done odd jobs here and there. Like, I've done window washing, painting, all these different tasks. I'm a handy kind of guy. And all of that stuff, the traveling itself is work. It's physical work. And then when you go out in nature, like going for hikes, going for walks, traveling from place to place, that is also part of that physical shocking your system. And so living as a nomad, I feel, is, at least for me, the answer. And so I want to meet y'all where you are. So if if you're at a college campus, if you're in an event, if you have an event center, a community center, a co-op, I want to meet you there. And it would be donation based. So I have a GoFundMe right now, which is how I'm hoping to get a little bit of kind of security, because right now I'm kind of broke. But I also am doing odd jobs. I'm, helping out where I can. I want to put my hands where they're helpful. I want to help people with my hands. But also, I want to speak and be heard and be seen telling the truth and speaking truth. And I want to travel the world doing that. And if y'all could help with the donating to the GoFundMe, or helping me figure out how to do this traveling speaking engagement thing, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm currently in East Maine in Ellsworth. I'm going to be going to the Maine Fungi Fest at the end of May. So May, I think it's May 30th to June 1st, or May 29th to June 1st, something like that. But it's a few days, and it's like a weekend of learning about mushrooms, not necessarily psychedelic, but specifically like medicinal mushrooms. And I want to be a voice for change, positive change. I don't want to be always upset about things like Elon and what's going on with our government. I want to show people that there are awesome things going on in this world, and by living that way, you can make the world better yourself. You don't have to let the icky, grimy negativity be your focus. And if you live a way that brings positivity to the world, you are making the world better. The world is small, but the world is massive, and every bit of good karma you put out in the world is helping. And I've let this video go a little long, so I'm going to cut this short in a second. But thank you for listening. I hope y'all are listening. Like I said, if anybody would help with the GoFundMe, I have an idea for what I'm calling the Oasis Project, and I'll probably post that next. But any advice, any funding, any help at all would be incredible. I have TikTok, Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm a little bit on Facebook, but I don't really post on Facebook. And then I have YouTube. I might have already said that. But please like and subscribe my videos. Like and subscribe to my channel. All that nonsense. I'm not used to how to say this yet. But yeah, but I would love to hear from you and kind of spread the good word of spirituality, good-natured, grounded kindness, and also psychedelics. So, and cannabis. Cannabis and psychedelics have been, cannabis and psilocybin specifically, have been so monumental in my life. And if I can show people that these things aren't scary and aren't demonic and aren't evil, and that they've helped me be me, then yeah, I want to help people. Thank you for your time. Have a great day, and talk to you later.